The Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In in Katy returns Saturday morning, November 21st, 8 to 11 a.m. This fun and fabulous event attracts the best rides in town. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all in one place. The Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a 3-hour friends and family event. Loopy's will have breakfast tacos, coffee, and the best cars, all at one location. The Loopy Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Loopy founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise-in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 21st, 8 to 11 a.m. at Loopy's in Katy. The Wheel Time Car Show will be there, too. Get your ride ready, and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise-in, November 21st, 8 to 11 a.m. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Show, Houston's award-winning car talk show. Coming up, a visit with Kristen Shaw and Jim Nelson from the Texas Auto Writers Association. We'll be talking about the winners of last month's Texas Truck Rodeo. Inside our new car showroom, the Hyundai Sonata, we'll give you an in-depth review. Plus, we'll have This Week in Automotive History and the stories making auto use headlines. It's all just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, November 7th, 2020. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Jeff Zekin sitting right off camera doing our video work for us this morning. We appreciate him. And we appreciate you joining us as well. It's a beautiful day in Houston, Texas town, and it's going to be a great weekend. And no hurricanes and no bad weather, so we can get out and enjoy
beautiful
what
out
we've
there.
got. It truly is. All right, so as I mentioned, our guest right now via Zoom is Kristen Shaw.
Jim Nelson.
Jim Nelson. One of the two. Somebody's here and somebody's not.
Jim is here.
Hi, Jim.
Kristen is trying to get here.
Is that what, Jim? What is that back there? Is that a wrecked car, or what do you got behind your head?
No, that was one of the new technical obstacles in this year's off-road course at the Texas Truck Rodeo.
So it's literally in the weeds.
No, actually, it was behind some weeds, but
got it.
It was doing the, I think that was about the 40 or 42 degree hill climb.
Oh.
That's your new Defender. That's your Land Rover Defender going up that hill.
So
it made it look real easy. I tell you, glad to have Defender back in the United States.
if you hit it at like 65 miles an hour, how far could you fly?
The problem with that is we put the big water hole just in front of the climb. I don't have pictures of that. I wish I did, because what you saw was this horrendous splash. And then whether it was the Defender or it was the Ram 1500 TRX or what have you, climbing their way out of the hole and then charging up against the side of that hill and blasting over the top. A couple of our members said that was absolutely the most fun they've ever had in their life. And I see Kristen on the screen. Have we got her there?
We do. Hi, Kristen.
Hey there. Hey, everybody. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and thank you for joining the In Wheel Time show this morning. It's good to have you. Kristen is the president of the Texas Auto Writers Association, and a little background: the Texas Auto Writers Association holds a couple of main events for manufacturers and auto writers to review. Well, depends on the time of year, but in the fall it's the Texas Truck Rodeo, and in the spring it is the
Texas Auto Roundup.
And so they divide it up that way. So because there's so many vehicles, we got trucks and SUVs, and then we got cars in the spring.
Right. You want some of them to go off-road, and some of them you don't need to. In fact, we were talking to Richard Tomlin a little bit earlier. He's up at Eagle Canyon, where the Auto Roundup was held for several years. And it was pretty cool to see what they've done up there. But this is the Truck Rodeo.
Yep.
This is the big one.
The big one, yeah. This, obviously, the manufacturers vie for the Texas Truck of the Year award, which is a great, big, wonderful trophy. And I know in the past several years, Ram has won that. And before we get into all of that, I did want to mention the fact that Ford and Chevrolet and General Motors were always invited, as all of the manufacturers are, to enter in this event. And Ford and General Motors and Chevrolet decided that they did not want to enter the event.
Yeah, last year and this year, they pretty well stopped doing any of those kind of events. They don't participate in anybody's event like that anymore.
So let me ask you, Kristen, how do you actually award the Texas Truck of the Year when 3 of the main competitors aren't present? How do you do that?
Well, I think we have to do the best we can. I think this year everybody would have participated, but the pandemic really threw a wrench in the wheels. We've been talking to GM and Ford extensively. They do events with us, but in the last year for their marketing dollars, they've pulled back on some of the association events. And this year they just didn't want to do anything that wasn't directly run by them for liability reasons. They had to make sure that everything was safe. But the truth is that Ram has been doing very well with the 1500, whether GM and Ford participate or not. I mean, the 1500 was awarded Luxury Car of the Year. They've been offered lots of trophies besides ours. So I still feel pretty confident that the Ram 1500 would do well.
It's very similar to the NACTOY, where they narrow it down. If you get down and look at the finalists in the NACTOY Awards, a lot of times, well, in fact, they don't. If you won last year or you were in the running last year, you're not even allowed to compete this year. So if Ram won 1,500, won the NACTOY Truck of the Year last year, they're not even allowed to compete this year unless they've got something significantly different. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of similar on the same grounds, other than they're allowed, but they're not there. But so you evaluate what you have to work with.
Right. Well, the other thing too, and discussed this with a friend of mine, is the fact that we all, as auto writers, generally speaking, get to drive all of the vehicles that are at the event at some point during the year. So you've got a pretty good idea as to, we do get Fords to drive in the press fleet. We do get Chevys and GMCs, along with Rams and the Nissan and the Toyota, all of the big full-size trucks. We all get a chance to drive those. And so we do have in the back of our mind, although the truck may not be at the Texas Auto Writers event, we do have a pretty good idea about all of the entries that would be in competition with one another. So we got a pretty good idea. And I have to tell you that me personally, right now anyway, I think that the Ram 1500 is the winner hands down, and for multiple reasons. And I think that my biggest thing is the interior of their trucks. Now, you guys may disagree with me, and please do, but I think that Ram offers the highest end of any interior, especially in trucks. But I think that you could probably take that Ram Laramie Longhorn edition and put it up against almost any car, truck, SUV, whatever you want to, and think that, my God, this is a Rolls-Royce interior here.
So can we talk about the winners of the Truck Rodeo?
No.
Apparently not.
Well, I want to talk about that. I mean, do you not agree with me? I mean, let's face it.
Yes.
The engines.
Answer is yes.
The engines head to head, they're all very similar when it comes to V8 engines. I mean, you can pick those things, all those things as far as you want to. But I mean, let's face it. They all have similar offerings in the engine category. Same thing with transmissions, suspensions, all of the options that are available. So what it really drills down to, really, if you want to get down to it, is interiors and design.
Which is where most people are in their truck. They make a lot of their decisions based on the interior of the vehicle.
And that's not to take away any of the design of the exteriors, and each are individual unto themselves, and you either like it.
Should be.
And the other thing is that I think that, the Ford owner is going to like Fords. The GM owner is going to like
brand
GM.
Loyalty, absolutely.
Yeah, the brand loyalty is
so
huge.
What do the Texas Auto Writers think about the interiors?
I think the interior of the Ram is spectacular. Now, that said, if you're a truck buyer, that may or may not be important to you. It depends on what kind of truck buyer you are. You may be interested in a work truck, and you might be like, well, I don't need all this stuff. But if you're looking for a really nice luxury drive, then that has it going for it. That said, I think the new F-150 is going to make some inroads into attracting some people from other brands because they've got a lot of really cool new features on it. And, from a cycle perspective, I mean, they're just now doing some of those test drives. So it might not have even been ready for the rodeo, but I think next year it's going to make some impact. Also, the GMC Sierra, I think, did a lot last year with camera angles and towing options. So if that's important to you, that may be why you choose that truck.
While we're at it, let's just remind our viewers that we have posted the winners on our webpage, inwheeltime.com. So if you don't catch it as we're talking here as to who won each category and the grand prizes, you can find that article at inwheeltime.com. Mike, shall we go through the winners here? Maybe Kristen can tell us the top winning vehicles.
Yeah, we need to know. Inquiry minds want to know.
All right, where do you want to begin?
Well, you got a lot of this.
Start at the bottom and work your way up.
Well, but there's a whole lot of categories down there. Yeah. So
let's just do the top three in the categories, if you don't mind.
I don't have the list in front of me, so Jim, help me with that.
All right, Jim.
She was running late.
This morning.
I've been working all day. I have a new job at The Drive as the weekend editor, so my mind's been on the articles I've been writing. So thanks, Jim.
Job. That's scary.
Yeah.
Let's. This was the 2020 Texas Truck Rodeo, and obviously we've spent some time talking about Ram, and Ram was the winner this year.
For the Truck of Texas, right?
The lead on that would have been the Ram 1500 TRX. This thing is a beast with manners and everything else that goes with it. It's the niftiest truck I have ever driven. I would say that Dave Alsoff, who's the head of Ram Communication, grabbed me at one point and said, let's take it out on the off-road course. I says, I don't have any problem with their off-road course. I want to find out how it drives on the road. Yeah. So we took it out on our we had a 16-mile road course out on the city and highway streets, but I took us out about 50 miles or so and back and was just blown away. I had to keep looking at myself and around my on either side and down over that big hood to remind myself I was driving a truck.
Wow.
I would make one point in particular that pertains here to Texas. So many of us are enamored with those new big screens that are up there on the dash and have more features, functions, and deals to do with that you can think of. And here in Texas, we got a ton of bright sun. And my biggest complaint of so many vehicles is when the sun is coming through that windshield, it glares off of that screen. The Ram people put this son of a gun exactly where it needed to be, that you get no glare on that screen, whether you're running into the sun or running away from the sun. So small detail, but it can be awfully important. Kristen, what do you think?
Well, I think the Bilstein shocks make a big difference on that TRX. I mean, we've all seen the videos of that TRX catching air, and I didn't get to experience that yet, but boy, am I looking forward to that. All the members really enjoyed driving the TRX. We were the first group to drive it, our first media group, and people were so excited. I mean, it's also very clever. It's got those little T-Rex Easter eggs under the hood and in the console, the T-Rex eating the Velociraptor. I mean, there's no doubt who they're going for.
Okay, so before we run out of time, some of the other categories. So, like, that was the big one, the Truck of Texas. But there's also something over on the SUV side.
Yeah?
Yes.
You want to talk about the Durango?
Yes. I can't talk much about it because drive impressions are embargoed through November 30th. But we did have a blast with the Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat in particular, and I can't say too much more, but it did win SUV of Texas. So,
but it was the Hellcat motor, not the 392.
Right, the Hellcat motor.
Interesting.
Horsepower wins. Yeah, I understand that the Toyota RAV4 TRD won compact SUV of Texas.
It did?
That's right. for the second year in a row, and that little vehicle is very capable. It's more capable, I think, than more people give it credit for. It's not just a grocery getter. You can take that camping, overlanding. That's a fun vehicle.
What about in the midsize pickup? That's turning out to be fairly competitive.
Jim, you want to take that one?
There's an awful lot of product out there in the midsize pickup truck, and there's a lot of discussion as to whether Jeep Gladiator is truly a midsize pickup truck, but it is. And so obviously it dominated the category in several people's minds in terms of the voting. It was judged to be the midsize pickup truck of Texas, for this year. Got lots of votes in lots of categories. Looking at the off-road pickup truck of Texas, that was the Ram TRX again, the 1500. The Ram people were doing really well. They won the Ram heavy-duty category, or the heavy-duty pickup truck of Texas with the Laramie Night Edition. So they did very well there. And they also won the luxury pickup truck of Texas with the Ram 1500 Limited Longhorn Edition. I spoke a little bit about the Land Rover earlier, the vehicle you see behind me. It was judged to be the luxury sport utility SUV vehicle of the year by the writers attending. There was a lot of excitement about that again as Land Rover returned to the U.S. And then our friends at Hyundai brought the Palisade, the new calligraphy edition, was really popular. And man, to see that fly over some of those technical obstacles, it was judged to be the midsize SUV of Texas by the media attending. So it was a good event.
Was there a lot of writing on the calligraphy version of that car?
Yeah, we were looking to see if they wrote us messages under the seat, but we didn't find anything.
Vote for me. Vote for me.
So
Subliminal calligraphy.
Yeah. So any other standouts, Jim? Kristen?
I think.
Well, we did have the Rolls-Royce Cullinan in there. And while it didn't win one of the top awards, I think mostly because of the price, that sure was fun to take out on the off-road course. The Cullinan is very capable, and Emmy Hall won the Rebel Rally with it last year. So they're willing to get it dirty, even though it's
you don't think about a Rolls Royce like that.
I like dirty. So let me ask you, how much was the Cullinan?
$426,000.
I wonder if you could lease that.
Yeah.
You create a
Do you want a house or do you want a vehicle?
Yeah.
Those are your choices.
Yeah.
Jeez, okay.
So Jim, let me ask, or let me ask both of you. So we saw that Ram TRX in Dallas at the State Fair when they debuted it a couple of years ago. And it was pretty impressive when it looked. Does it live up to all the hype?
I think it exceeds the hype. They added lots of small touches inside and out to that vehicle above and beyond what we saw at State Fair a couple of years ago. I know, first of all, we kept it kind of a secret that it was coming.
Right.
And so as I wrote in a Facebook post, I said as we're unloading this morning, and I had pictures of the blue one backing out of the truck, there are going to be members who chose not to attend this year's rodeo, and they wish they did. I was just blown away as I watched it back down the ramp, and we put it into park position. Small story, there's a small church that holds services in the venue where we were running the event. And as people were coming from the parking lot to go to church, numbers of the men were taking a hard left to the parking lot and saying, "Is that the new TRX?
Got to go check it out.
Really? You guys are going to drive it?" And the answer was, "Of course we are."
That is pretty cool. First ones to drive
Amen.
it. Yeah, amen.
Amen.
Yeehaw.
One last comment. Obviously there's always a funny story or two that goes on with these things. We always make sure we have a couple of tow straps around. Because though we try and design the course so that we don't get in trouble, and we have 10 spotters out there helping our members drive and not get in trouble, we have the tow straps just in case we have to tow a vehicle out of a hole. At one point, the phone rings, and it was the county constable who was parked across the street on the soft shoulder of the road in his not-to-be-named pickup truck. And he said, "Can somebody come pull me off the shoulder here? It collapsed, and I'm down in the gulch." So we had to send another not-to-be-named vehicle and a tow strap over there on the road on the highway just outside the venue and pull him out of the hole.
And what's the name of the venue where it was?
We were at
Was that the
Star Hill Ranch in
Right.
BK, Texas. That is a movie studio, oh, by the way. And if you spend any time watching some of the Walking Dead series, you will recognize the buildings and land around Star Hill Ranch in some of the scenes.
So some of the Texas auto riders volunteered as extras?
Maybe.
You can do that if you want to. I think Star Hill Ranch people actually have some connection with the studios. They are here in Austin, or were back in Austin a week or so ago filming again. So I have no idea. I know I didn't go apply. I look dead enough as is. Makeup would be cheap for me. I think.
Some of us wouldn't need much.
Well, I was just going to
Zombies
say,
and trucks.
yeah,
It's all good.
makeup may be cheap, but it takes a lot of it, Jim. I love you though.
One last point, I want to, in full disclosure, first of all, I want to thank Kristen for taking charge this year. She just did a bang-up job against the issues with COVID and everything else. But I also want to point out to your buddy, to your guys' right, Mike Mars. He's our immediate past president of the Texas Auto Writers. In every organization, there's always somebody who knows all the stuff that nobody ever wrote down. And the phone lines just burned up between Austin and Houston that last 10 days or so with, hey, Mike, how do we do this?
Yeah. Well, Mike does that on the show with us all the time.
So, Mike, thank you very much. We pulled off a really humdinger of an event in a very difficult year.
So you guys are now. Was there voting this year for the new president, or Kristen? Are you going to continue on?
I've got another year in my tenure, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a super interesting year with the pandemic and trying to figure out how to do things a little differently. But we have a really positive vibe going, and the members are invested, and we are making it fun.
What are you going to look forward to for the spring roundup?
World peace.
World peace. Yes, absolutely. But obviously, I mean,
some interesting ideas, and we think we're going to introduce, just like we did for this event, some interesting features. We're going to have some more interesting features for the spring event as well. So lots of excitement coming.
Looking forward to it. Hope I can make that one.
I hope so too. We had planned to have it at the Texas Motor Speedway this past April, but of course we had to cancel that. So we're looking at doing something like that in the spring. So stay tuned.
We'll do it.
Well, thank you both very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And I know, Kristen, the typewriter's waiting, so get going, girl.
I know it. Thanks, man.
Thanks
you guys.
Jim, thank you. Love you. See you guys later. All right.
Day.
Yeah, you do the same. All right. It's good to talk to them, and lots of winners. And I know that Ram is worthy of the champion trophy this year once again for the Texas Truck.
And Jim is a contributor to our Facebook page as well. We see him post on our Facebook page with some regularity.
Jim is a fabulous rider. I really like his riding style. All right, time to move on here on the In Wheel Time Car Show, and time now for our car review for this hour. Had a chance to drive the 2020 Hyundai Sonata. It comes in 3 trim levels: blue, SEL, and limited.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
blue,
red, and white.
Blue's a trim level?
Blue's a trim level. Yeah.
Okay.
I got the limited. This is a mid-size sedan, completely redesigned for 2020. And there it is. Exterior features: shark-like snoot with a sexy grille. Look at it.
Do you look up those phrases to enhance your...
Those things are always floating around in this sick mind of mine. It has a really sleek rear end with fender-to-fender lighting. And it also has a solar roof panel built right into it.
Oh, that's smart.
It is. It's very good. Chrome trim that divides the hood and the front fenders. A very unique... You've never seen anything like it.
And it also integrates into the LEDs and the headlights. Looks cool. I've seen a couple on the highway.
You know, to say that to somebody, you go, "Are you kidding me?" They've made it stand out like that. But man, I'm telling you, what a wonderful design element. It makes it totally different. Now, you tell me that doesn't look, that rear end, the rear tail end of the car, the back bumper and the hood with the if it doesn't give you just a little hint of the Oldsmobile Tornado back in the day.
Bringing sexy back.
Bringing sexy back, exactly. What I liked about it, the cutting-edge design elements that are sexy and gives the car a standout appearance without being ugly. How's that?
No, I think the car looks wonderful.
I do too. Interior highlights: modern design, dash with ultra-wide touchscreen, top center of the console, a digital instrument cluster, easy-to-use controls, passive phone charger on the center console.
You like that?
I do. Yeah. Cargo room is enough. Every car should have that.
Yeah, it should
you shouldn't have to plug it in
standard.
anymore.
Everybody's got a cell phone.
And the other thing is that they need to integrate Bluetooth with that, because if you want to integrate your phone via Bluetooth into the car, you got to plug it in.
Go through a dance.
You got to plug it in.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, for most of them. That's what I liked about it, well screwed together, great layout design. What could use improvement? I put down here 0, Z-E-R-O, 0.
Sounds like they did it right.
They did it right. Engine, 192 horsepower hybrid powertrain, which is a combination of gas and electric. 6-speed automatic transmission. Okay, miles per gallon. You sitting down? City.
Should I stand up?
Oh, stand up.
No, I don't want to. They don't want to see my legs.
I was going to say something I'm not going to. City, 45 miles per gallon city.
What?
51 highway for combined of 47. I got 46.8 miles per gallon.
No kidding.
Over 455.8 miles.
And that's a gasoline direct injected turbo 4-cylinder.
But it's the
a hybrid. It's the hybrid model. Yes. Now, I have to tell you that I am all in on this car. I'm all in on this one. What I liked about it, got plenty of pep, plus the mileage. We keeping you awake? This is the third time I've caught you yawning over there. What could use improvement? I had to dream something up, and that would be a Sport Vision with a horsepower bump. But why? But that's not what this car is about. This car is about comfort and mileage, and they do it so well, and value. Ride and handling smooth, but with a European hint of handling to it. Base trim price. Now, we're talking about this hybrid version. They do make a standard gasoline version as well, but we're not talking about that. This is the hybrid version we're talking about. Base trim price, $35,300. Price as tested, well, there are no options listed, okay? No options. That's all in at this trim level. Base price, if you want the gasoline version of it, is $23,600. The non-hybrid, the stripper model. The hybrid starts at $27,750, but mine was the top of the line limited for $35,300.
That's
$35,300.
That's actually a good price point for.
Are you kidding me? I mean, that to me, that's pretty awesome. Okay, so as far as
for 40 miles a gallon plus, yeah, that's pretty awesome.
46.8, sir, is what I got.
And for
Honda Insight, $28,340. These are the base prices. Toyota Avalon Hybrid, $37,000. Honda Accord Hybrid for $25,470. Spend the extra money. Go and test drive the car. I think that you will truly be impressed by everything about this car. You know,
and you're not talking about the range anxiety.
No.
That you use.
No.
That a lot of people, not just you, but a lot of people have with the EVs, because they just haven't got quite to that point yet to where you can eliminate that.
Right.
But the hybrid will.
This has got it all going for it, I'm telling you. I suggest that if you're looking for a four-door sedan, that you plan on spending $30,000, $35,000, get at least a test drive in this car, and you're going to go.
46 miles to a gallon is remarkable.
Yeah. It truly is.
Particularly if you're going to if you're keeping the vehicle for 10 years, like a lot of people do, then you're going to recoup the extra to get hybrid.
And in a luxurious mid-size car.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not driving around in some little smart car.
I'm a fan. We'll tell you that. National Events Calendar. Do you happen to have something like that titled over there in your little stack of papers?
Yeah, but we've already gone through it. But We can.
He keeps saying that.
Well, we
but
did.
remember, this is a 2.5-hour show. Probably the people that are watching now
did.
weren't watching 2 hours
But one
ago.
thing I would like to mention, and that is San Antonio's, and I don't think I did this last week, Toyota gave $500,000 to the San Antonio school districts, trying to help them purchase Chromebooks and internet hotspots.
You did mention that.
I did. And the cool thing is, this is just a pure donation because Toyota, they have production there in San Antonio. And not only did they give them $500,000 for Chromebooks for students in low-income areas, they're also going to park buses with internet broadband internet access in those areas, so all of those Chromebooks can hit that internet access there in town and help the education. Pretty genius on Toyota's part, even though it's not automotive related, it's very community related. And when you look at how integrated so many of these automotive companies are into their communities, it speaks well for them.
Okay.
All righty.
That it? Well, yeah, it was.
Yes, that was it.
Okay. Hey, I want to remind everybody that the In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, TuneIn, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict. And the In Wheel Time Car Show will continue right after this quick break. Stay with us.